Hello and welcome back to FRAG-MENTAL, where you get only the best fragrance recommendations. And this video is no exception because I have got some sexy date night fragrances to talk to you about. The twist here though is all these fragrances are new for this year. I've done loads of date night recommendation videos in the past. You've probably seen a ton of them and a ton of everybody else's as well. So I thought I'd do something a little bit different. This is date night fragrances I would like to recommend to you that have all been released this year in 2025. Let me tell you, there's some good ones. Hopefully you're going to be getting pretty close and intimate with your date on date night. So you don't want a fragrance that's too loud and too shouty, but you still want some good projection. All the fragrances here do that, including this first one, which has a very date nighty name. Celestial Whispers from Maison Margiela. This is in the replica line, and in this situation it is replicating the smell of Celestial Whispers, which we all know smell amazing. This actually does smell amazing. There's aldehydes, incense, myrrh, bourbon vanilla, musks and cedarwood. I would have looked at those notes and thought this was going to be quite a heavy fragrance, maybe like an amouage, really heavy on the incense, quite weighed down by that, quite base and incense heavy. This is not that. This is a very pleasantly refreshing, almost clean, slightly soapy, kind of clean skin accord with this. I don't know if it's the style of incense that's used or the fact that it's combined with aldehydes, but the incense just seems to be sort of swirling around in quite a lively, energetic way, rather than being like a heavy incense just sitting there. This is a very swirly, energetic, clean, mysterious, sensual fragrance. And for all those reasons, I just think it works really well on a date night. Clean, mysterious, sensual. I think a lot of dates probably are looking for those qualities in their date, and this scent is certainly going to help you achieve that. The other good thing about this fragrance that I like is that the replica line are affordable. This one is selling at Space NK for £165. That's for the 100ml. For a smell that smells as niche and as high quality as this, for that price, for the size of this bottle, and what a nice bottle it is, in my opinion, that's great value. I can highly recommend making a date with Celestial Whispers. The next one is a brand new release from Brioni's Extrait de Parfum line. This was my favorite of the 4 new releases. It's called Labdanum Brut. But it certainly is not a brute, because this is another very deep, sensual fragrance. Despite the weight and gravitas that it has a lovely opening pot with pink pepper, bergamot and cardamom, and then it settles into the rose, musks and labdanum. Get a little bit of sexy booziness from this fragrance. No booze listed. I think it's just a combination of the notes in here, but I do get a little bit of that and I love it for that. Don't be worried about the rose in this. This does not smell like a rose fragrance. In fact, if I hadn't seen it in the notes, I probably wouldn't have picked it up. It's not that sort of rose. It certainly doesn't make the fragrance lean feminine at all. It's a very unisex fragrance. It's musky, it's rounded. It's a sort of fragrance that I think makes people want to lean into you. And that's why I've selected it for this video, because I think that is exactly what you're looking for a date night. I always think a sweet gourmand fragrance is perfect for a date night, because who doesn't want to smell good enough to eat on a date? That's always a bonus, I would say. This one is Check Please from Mind Games. This is such a beautifully addictive scent. There's apple, nougat, hazelnut, cinnamon, plum, rose, woods and vanilla. So there is a liveliness to this from the fruit, from the plum and the apple, but it isn't a fresh scent. This is a very sweet fragrance. That liveliness does lead you into these very sweet dessert-like gourmand notes. Very indulgent, very addictive, like all the best desserts are, and you are going to smell as good as a really indulgent dessert when you wear this fragrance. So much so that if you take your date out for dinner, when it comes to ordering dessert, they're not going to want to order dessert. They want to go home, because when you're wearing this, you will be the dessert. Next up is one of my favourite releases of the year. This is in the Armani Privé line, and it is one of my favourites because I kind of got some pretty nice compliments of this one. It's Coeur Nu. The main accords in this fragrance are this trifecta of coffee, rose and leather. Rose brings a smooth sensuality, the coffee has a robust strength, and the leather is giving backbone and attitude. This is a very strong fragrance, but I wouldn't say it's strong in a shouty or obnoxious way. It's not too loud, because I wouldn't recommend that sort of fragrance for a date night. This is very strong, but in sort of a limited scent bubble kind of radius, if you know what I mean. So perfect if you're being quite intimate and you're on a date, whether you're in a cinema watching a movie or if you're out for a meal. This This is one of those fragrances that I would describe as impactful, as a statement maker, but it's so smooth and so rounded. It's got a real romantic quality to it, I think, which is why I would say it would work so well on a date night. The other thing is this smells really opulent, really expensive. The quality is fantastic, and those are all things that you want to bring with you on a date.
If you love fragrance as much as I do, head over to my online store luxparfum.co.uk. You'll find my favourite brands plus brands you can't find anywhere else in the UK. Link is in the description.
The original Gucci Guilty Elixir I thought was fantastic. It was this powdery white floral almondy fragrance, vanilla in there as well. This is certainly along the same lines. It's kind of a flanker to that, but this one adds a little bit of rum, darkens things up a little bit, gives it a bit more attitude and complexity. This is Gucci Guilty Absolute de Parfum. Certainly along the same lines as Gucci Guilty Elixir. I feel like they definitely use the same base with this, but the addition of the rum I just think makes it even smoother, a little bit darker, and those qualities make it perfect for a date. Something else here which just adds that bit of extra darkness, complexity and excitement is chili pepper, so it just gives it this slightly fiery chili quality. It's not dominant, it is just more in the background, but it is there and it's adding something to this fragrance which makes it even more date night appropriate than the Elixir. Great fragrance. If you love the Elixir, then definitely try this one. I don't know if it's different enough to have both, but if you haven't got the Elixir or you run out of the Elixir, then if you get this, I think you'll like it and your date probably will too. I love a fragrance that has a name that just fits perfectly with date night, and this does just that. From Electimus, it's Vesper Reverie. This is a very rich, smooth, quite strong, fruity floral scent. It's got apple, orange, blackcurrant, peach, mango, green tea, white florals, rose, leather, and vanilla. The luxurious, expensive smell that this one has is off the charts. It is just as opulent as a fragrance can get. Everything about this fragrance screams expensive, from the smell itself to the luxurious presentation. I mean, this is the sort of bottle that sits on your shelf and is as much as an ornament and a centerpiece as any other ornament or centerpiece. Very striking looking. If it's a date that you are hoping to continue the date further into the evening, maybe take your date back to your place. If this is just conveniently sitting in a very noticeable place on your shelf, I think your date's going to be even more impressed. It's definitely the sort of fragrance that will get noticed. It will probably become a talking point because your date will probably want to ask you what you're wearing. So if you're the kind of person who worries about going on a date and what sort of conversation you'll make, then this will be the conversation. Finally, a fragrance that I'm a little bit sad about. Why would I recommend a fragrance that I'm sad about? I'm sad because the bottle of this one is so small. This is Muse from Yves Saint Laurent. You know me, I love a good iris fragrance. The lipstickier the better, especially for a date night, and this certainly is along those lines. I'm so into this, I'm seriously considering grabbing a bottle when I've used this little miniature dabber bottle that I have here. It reminds me a little bit of a fragrance that is one of my favorites of all time, sadly now discontinued, from Dior. It's Dior Homme Eau for Men, that has that powdery, slightly creamy, white floral scent, and it reminds me of that. It's not exactly the same. This is a little bit darker, just has that edge of complexity over that one because there's some ink in here. I wouldn't say it's a very inky sort of smell, but compared to Dior Homme Eau, it just has just a bit of extra depth, but it certainly still reminds me of that sort of creamy iris scent. And in my opinion, that style of fragrance is one of the sexiest smells. The iris in Dior Homme Parfum, the original one, Dior Homme Intense, Dior Homme, that's the sort of iris we're talking about in here, and I think it is incredibly sexy, which is why I'm recommending it for a date night, because when you go on a date night, you want to smell as incredibly sexy as possible. If you wear Muse from Yves Saint Laurent, I think you're going to achieve that, and that is going to make you win at dates. There you go, I put this video together because I realised that there'd been a lot of releases this year that I just thought were the sort of fragrances that would kill it on date nights. So if you want to up your date night game, you'll not go wrong with any of these fragrances. Do try and smell them if you can. I know it's not always easy to do that, but if you can manage to get samples, go to sample websites, or if you can go into a store that sells these fragrances, give them a sniff first because some of them are a little bit expensive. If you were interested in the Electimus fragrance, fragrance, I do have a discount code for that, so you can use that code or you can follow the link to get a little bit of money off. What do you think about the fragrances I've talked about? Have you tried them? Do you think these are good date night fragrances? What would you recommend for a date night? But let's stick to new releases from this year. If there are any new release fragrances from 2025 that I've not mentioned in this video that you think would be perfect for a date night, please drop those down in the comments, because if I've not checked them out, I certainly will be doing. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you do all that, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.